Welcome to All In Magazine, the publication doing things different. We are an in-depth story-sharing magazine with the truth of the matter at the heart of everything, always in all ways. A no-holds-barred, fully experiential space where you can read, watch and listen to some of the most authentic humans sharing their stories, dropping wisdom and cultivating a community you always want to be part of. Are you ready to go all in?
Of course, we're ready to go on in. Hey, welcome to All In Magazine. I'm the Trigger Rich Bontrager, and who are you?
I am Sandar D. Robinson. Glad to be here today, and we have an awesome guest for you.
Hey, Sandar, did you know it's International Women's Month?
I did know that because I'm a woman, so I kind of clued into that. But yes, and that's why our guest today is so incredibly special, because she is going to talk to us about all the things that make women amazing and how she is actually celebrating one of those main things with her new venture.
Well, and just mark your calendar, Saturday, March 8th, the official Women's Day. But as we know, we love our moms, our wives, our daughters. We love the women in our life. So make sure this week you celebrate women in a very special way. But let's get into our great conversation today with Bronagh Davidson. Now, she is the founder of Cash Flow Club Ireland. But today we're going to be talking about her newest venture, My Pregnancy Journal. Now, journaling is a powerful thing. A pregnancy is a powerful thing. And I bet you, Sandra, she smells combine it all, be a pretty fun project. What do you think?
She's a pretty dynamic girl. We were talking a little bit backstage, so I'm very excited. And there she is, Bronagh. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Rich and Sandra, for having me here, and for Kira for creating this space.
Oh, yeah. Kira is the master behind All In Magazine. We always want to make sure we plug her and give her some love. Great to have you with us there. So you got pregnant, but why did you come up with the journal idea? Well, how did this whole thing begin for you?
I did get pregnant. So I suppose before I even get into that, I did get pregnant, but I was told prior to getting pregnant that I potentially wouldn't be able to get pregnant, that I might have be premenopausal and it might be an issue for me. And I was advised to, get stuck into maybe an IVF route. I'm married to my amazing husband, Carl, and it wasn't something that I ever thought I was doing at that moment, is wanting to get pregnant. But as soon as the option was potentially taken away from me, I freaked out, as you would. So jumped into getting pregnant, thankfully conceived naturally and pretty much straight away. Had my first little girl, Bronagh Beag. Beag is small in Irish, so Bronagh Beag is a cute little name for her. And I was gifted a pregnancy journal for my first pregnancy, which is amazing. So I didn't think much of it. The journal was pretty good, so I was happy enough with it. After her first birthday, I then did a 1-year journal. Again, was happy enough with it. Everything was great. Just after she turned 1, I got pregnant again. So I was delighted with that. And I thought that I had a second pregnancy journal that I'd been gifted the first time around. But actually it was a 1-year journal. So I had no pregnancy journal for my second pregnancy. So it's like, oh, that's fine. There's always like baby events on in the stores, the different retailers, it would be easy to get a pregnancy journal. I was wrong. Could not find them in any of the stores. I went online. Some of them look great. I go to purchase it. It would say all sold out, like not available. So it was actually like a struggle, and it was like really difficult for someone who's already pregnant to have to then scurry around and try to find a pregnancy journal. So I ended up getting like the worst of the bad lot, basically. I got something. It was just not fit for purpose whatsoever. I did not enjoy it. But yeah, I kind of just made it my own and made it into a kind of a scrapbook. I just, whatever prompts that they would have, I put my pictures and stuff over it, made it my own. It was still very ugly, but it was better than it would have been. And then I just decided after that, for my next pregnancy, which hopefully I'll have, I just want to design it for myself. So that's kind of like where the inception of the idea came. It was more so for myself for a future pregnancy.
Bronagh, I want to stop you for a second, because there are some people that maybe haven't had a pregnancy yet, or that have not had children, but love people that are having children, right? So what is the value in a pregnancy journal? What is your expectation of it? I mean, when you got the first one, you said it was great. It was perfectly adequate, in other words, right? What are they? Why have one?
Yeah. Honestly, I think there are so many reasons why. Obviously, the journal part of it is you're creating, a record of your pregnancy, which is very kind of like, nearly sounds like a school era thing. But it's something really nice for your baby or your child or your adult child or your grandchildren in future years to look back on. So
what kind
creating
of
that,
like an entry would be perhaps that I felt the baby kick today? Like would that be an entry in a journal?
it could absolutely be. Yeah. What I loved in the first one is actually every single week of the pregnancy, you had some lines to be able to like write down what you did that week. So if you went to a concert or you went for food or you fell sick or whatever it was, you could just put down every like week on week what it is that you were doing. But there's so much more than that. It's like doctor appointments. I have a lot in there about like letters to your baby, which is another layer, which I think is connection between mother and baby, which I think is so important. And I really believe that journals are like really, really amazing at doing that and creating that bond between mother and baby, which can be hard for some mothers to even create a connection with their child. But it brings on that like emotional level of like the pregnancy, as well as creating that keepsake for your child. But I also have in mind things about like creating your nursery, going on a potential baby moon. Do you have baby shower? Do you have a gender reveal? Like, if you are doing a baby shower, like planning it, and then also after it happened, like who was there, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so like it's literally everything that you could think of to do with a pregnancy is in my journal. Yeah, with lots of space for like letters and everything. So, but the main thing for me is like creating that keepsake.
So I'm kind of curious, because being the guy, is a journal for the guy, or is this more of it's kind of a women's thing for yourself, or do you share it with your husband and reflect on the journey and all that good stuff?
With the ones that I did, and also with the one that I created, like it is more for the woman. However, for the father, there's like opportunities for you to like write like letters to your baby or your notes or like how you're feeling. And when I was doing it, like I was definitely the journaler in the pregnancies, but my husband loved reading back over it. And for him, it was even like a source of pride to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you're creating this. Like, this is such a beautiful thing for our babies to have in years to come, and he just like fills up with like so much emotion just thinking about the journals that I've created, so I think it definitely is like a special moment for like the dads or the whoever's the extra moms or like whoever it is, like that's not the one that's creating the journal. But again, I do have opportunity for dad to come in and like write letters to baby and everything. So
that's so amazing. That's so amazing. I'm so glad you asked that question, Rich, because I would have just discounted the husband altogether.
Right. Which, again, you hear journal, you heard pregnancy, and you're thinking, the guy's not even there. But I'm thinking, I'm going to go back through and relive it. I mean, that's really cool.
100%. Yeah, it's such an amazing opportunity as well, just to like share, like, I suppose when you get older, like your kids think you're so cool or whatever. Whereas like if you can say like, no, actually, like we went to Snoop Dogg, which I did in one of my pregnancies, like we went traveling here and we went there and we did this, like, and that's not just the mom, that's like the mom and the partner. And like just so much opportunity to add pictures as well. Like I just like love photographs printed. So like being able to see the pictures of like the parents, both parents throughout the pregnancy for them to look back on, or the grandparents. Like I always like skip a generation. I'm like, your grandchildren could be reading back over this and seeing how much their grandparents loved their parents. I just think it's so cool to be able to have that and to be able to pass that on to future generations.
That's beautiful. I think a lot of people miss that. They miss that part of the generational give, looking back and seeing, and I think that we're all sort of fascinated by it. There is a fascination with our history in the family. I mean, hence we have all of these online ads, right, for ancestry.com and all of this, because we do want to have that connection. And I think what you're doing is so intricately connected to all of that and very, very important. What were the things that were in the journals that you said you ended up buying one out of desperation because you're already pregnant? You're like, I'm 10 steps behind. I need give me a tablet, anything.
That would have been better than what I got, Sandra.
So what was it that you thought could have been better? What was the thing that you didn't want to settle for that you purchased?
Yeah. There was such weird stuff in it. Like it would just be like a really weird prompt at the top and then the full page. Like Okay, so just a normal prompt. It could be like, oh, like possible baby names, but like it would just be like a full page, and it's like you don't have that many baby names that you're going to be going through. Like it was such a waste of space. And then it would have weird stuff like how to track your bump measurements, and it was just like what's your weight and like all this. I was like, I don't want to focus on like what my weight is like when I'm pregnant. I just want to enjoy the pregnancy. Do you know that? I was like,
Yes.
no. I was just like, I couldn't even tell you. Like, there's just so much. I couldn't even show you because I plastered it with so many pictures, and like the prompts that would have at the top, I ended up just like literally crossing them off
Covering them up.
and
Yeah.
just writing it like letters to my baby. So the second journal is actually more so just like lots of letters, like this is what we were doing today, and we're so looking forward to meeting you, and all this sort of stuff. And I'm grateful for that because it actually opened my eyes so much to like how I would want my own journal to be, and it's very like letter focused and everything, while also allowing the space for the prompts that you actually want to have in a pregnancy journal. But it was brutal. Even the size of it, it was like A5 size, whereas the one I had before was like A4. So like my journal, I have it here, it's a big chunky thing, you know.
That's awesome.
Big journal.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one was like half the size of that, and it was awful. It was
What's been the reception of this? I mean, other ladies, other mothers expecting. What's
Yeah.
been the reception of a journal for me as I'm pregnant?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm in so many like mommy and baby and toddler groups, as you can imagine. So there's so many mothers that I've been speaking to on the run up to like creating this and everything. I'm like, I was so shocked that like not one of the mothers that I'd spoken to had done a journal. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they started a journal and they didn't finish, because you do have to be conscientious and like determined to like, you know, see out the whole pregnancy. But like none of them had even started the journal. And to me, like that just kind of like hurt my heart a little bit, because we forget things so quickly. Like it's all well and good to say like, oh, I might just like try to jot things down like after the fact when your child's a year old, but like you're not going to remember all the intricate like little things that happened week on week. So yeah, but like having said that, like one lady was actually like gifted one from her partner's grandfather. So the grandfather bought the journal from me for the son's partner. And she loves it. She's really, really, really enjoying it. So that's what I'm like really excited about, is for like mommies, like see, it's kind of tough because it has to be someone who's getting it either themselves or as a gift very early in a pregnancy.
Right.
And most people don't announce a pregnancy until they're already 3-4 months into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've missed the first trimester basically of the pregnancy. So my main thing is like how to get it into the hands of very new mammies who maybe have barely told anyone that they're pregnant, you know. So that's what I need to focus on now, is getting it into more mommy's hands.
How do we get that intel? Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you've got tips on what are some of those great moments not to miss. You know, like the first time you go to the doctor, the first time you have the ultrasound, the first time you feel the kick. Are there certain landmarks that you intentionally say, don't miss this one?
1,000,000%. And not only that, like in the journal for each trimester, I realized as I was going through it, there's certain milestones specific to each trimester as well. So like I tried to include them in like even things like going on a baby moon. Like that's more of an American thing. It's not really an Irish thing, but we did it. You know, but it's like you'd only really do that like on the 3rd trimester, for example. A gender reveal or a baby shower or whatever, you're definitely doing that at least in the 2nd trimester, if not the 3rd, because you're not finding out the gender here in Ireland anyway until you're 20 weeks. So you're quite far, like halfway through the pregnancy before you're even finding out, if you're finding out. Like a lot of people here don't find out at all. And then obviously at the very beginning, so did you do like an early scan, going for your scan, putting in all your ultrasound pictures? Like there's so much, like, you know. And I've actually at the end of each trimester, so I have a trimester calendar, so you can put in all your important dates. And then I also have a page that like you can track doctor's appointments or notes and different things like that as well. So you can really like go in, each trimester is going to be completely different. So, but I love the calendar. And actually I got the calendar from like idea from the 2nd journal. So I'm also grateful for the 2nd journal for the calendar as well, because I loved it. It was the one really good thing. Yeah.
You're watching All In Magazine. We're going to be back in just a moment because you want to make sure you get more of this great content. So All One Magazine. I'm Rich Bontrager, the Trigger. That's Sandar D. Robinson, my partner with me, and Bronagh is with us, talking about pregnancy journals. What was the reaction when you told your husband?
We have to give Bronagh a little bit of a credit here as well, because not only have you created the journals, but a different type of book. You've actually written 2 books. Your first one was the second one was The Mothership, which is kind of tied into what we're doing.
And my picture was actually on the cover of that All In magazine that you just showed on the screen.
Yes.
So you can't get rid of me that easy. Yeah.
And then your first book was Monetize Your Message. So, which goes along with your background of being the founder of Cashflow Ireland. So very well-rounded girl that you are. So I know that you also had worked on your website, correct?
Yeah.
You had created the website yourself. I think this might've been where Rich was going. So let's go there. Tell us a little bit about what you included in your website and why is it so special?
Yeah, like I think it was really important to me to also create the website. I'm not a techie person by any means whatsoever. Full disclosure, I currently work for Shopify, so we get free websites as well. And I have an insight into how the back end works. So that did help me. But I am on like extended maternity leave, so I haven't been in it for a long time. But yeah, no, it's just really important for me to do that, because so many times in the past I've like offshored it to different people to do my website. I wouldn't have a clue like how to go in and even change a picture if I wanted to. So I wanted to make sure that my energy was all over that website, and it is. But also I included, so we have the journal, obviously we have Mothership. So I have a copy of it here. I have a copy of Monetize Your Message that you can also purchase on the website. A couple of books that my husband partook in for the men or for whoever is also on the website. And then I also have a really cool blog. So it's called the Mammy Corner, and you know, it covers like a range of lots of different things. But yeah, just little articles that I post in from time to time on there as well. So it also comes with some information. So
now you also did this, if I'm correct, you got really active with this with a toddler. So you got a kid that's active, you're launching a product and everything else. Are you insane?
I know, toddler and newborn. So it was very busy. To be honest, like pre-Christmas, I could kind of get away with it. I felt like just whatever way their nap schedule or whatever worked out, it was a lot easier than it currently is. It's all changed since the new year. So I'm a lot less active now than I have been. But no, like honestly, my girls are just so good. So my second baby's name is Saoirse, which is the Irish for freedom or liberty. She's my little Liberty Bell. And she has just been absolutely amazing. She's 9 months now, and you know, she's obviously the inspiration for this, as it was her journal that I absolutely didn't like. So yeah, it's been tough, but it's been worthwhile, you know, like I've just been really enjoying all the process.
So Bronagh, your older daughter, how old is she now?
She's 2.5, so she's crazy.
She's not quite ready to see what's in her journal from when she was itty bitty, but soon, a couple of years, you'll be able to share with her, right?
Oh, I cannot wait. Yeah. And actually her pregnancy journal is over in Portugal. We have a property over there. We'll be moving over next year. So the 2 girls will be growing up Portuguese. And it's being renovated at the moment. So it's in a box over in Portugal. So she couldn't see it even if she wanted to.
Will there be a toddler book? Like from pregnancy, and then a second series for toddler, because those first couple of years are amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? So I said Saoirse inspired the pregnancy book, but Brown has actually inspired me in terms of that, because I do have a 1-year journal for her, but obviously she's 2 now, she's into her 3rd year, and there's so many things, like even how she misspeaks sometimes is just so adorable, or like her favorite song and different things like that. And I just don't have anywhere to record that, and that makes my heart sad as well. So I originally was going to do like a 1-year journal, but now I think I'm going to do like a 3 or maybe a 5-year journal. And there won't be a ton of stuff year to year, but just somewhere that you can jot down, you know, your milestones, even like first haircut, first whatever, like, you know, you're not going to do that within the first year. So yeah.
I date myself. When my first daughter was born, and she got older in those 1s, 2s, we videotaped her watching Barney.
I know.
And she was singing and doing Barney. And one day she came down from her bedroom and she had colored her feet green, or no, purple to match Barney.
Oh,
I wish I would have had a book or something like that to capture that, because those are the moments you want to hold on to, right?
a million, like honestly the first year, that there's so many 1 year books, but the first year is really just like milestones, like saying Mama and Gaga or whatever, which is what Saoirse is doing now. But it's when you get into year, like after year one, like year 1, year 2, 3, 4, 5, going to school, making friends, like Bronagh does gymnastics and stuff. There's just so much that I could be putting in there that like I just don't physically have anywhere to put. But Saoirse will, because I'll make sure that I create something for her. So yeah.
That's so awesome.
What was the biggest surprise for you doing this? For you personally, was it reflecting back? Was it doing the project itself? What was the biggest surprise that you went, oh, I stumbled on this by accident?
Yeah, I think, well, the initial kind of like idea of it, like it wasn't something I ever planned to do. Like I love, as you know, Cash Flow Club, like I'm all into entrepreneurial isms and all the things, but like this was just never on my radar. So the initial idea of it was a big surprise. But I think the biggest thing that kind of got me wasn't the creation. I just found that so much fun and I just really enjoyed it. But once the journal was complete, everything that came after that, so like having to create the website, having to find like sponsor different events, how to, you know, get the book out into the retail stores, which I'm still working on. Like there's so much is more the business side of it as opposed to the creation side of it that has been, I was like, oh my God, this is real. Like I have like 200 books there. I need to go sell them now, you know? So that was like, went from like all the fun to being like, time to get serious, you know? So I think that was the biggest shock to the system anyway.
It is. What was the hardest thing? Did you ever have, since you were balancing, you had an infant and you had a toddler, was there a day that you nearly quit? Or did that never happen?
No, like I think I kind of had that recently, and the only thing that stopped me is the fact that I have a lot of them. So I'm like, all I want to
you got 200 of them.
Yeah, I need to share these first before I do anything. No, I think, you know what, over Christmas, we all got a bit sick. There's been this, like, I'm calling it a boomerang flu. You get it, it goes, it comes back. It's been happening to all of us in the house since like Halloween. So I think there was that. And then in January, I had pre-sponsored 2 different events. So Women Empowerment Summit, and then an event specifically for parents or upcoming parents. So I had a table, and the first one was postponed to April, and then the second one was postponed to May. And there was that kind of like lull where I had like worked so hard up to these events in January, and then they just didn't happen, and there was kind of anticlimactic. And I don't know, I feel I kind of knocked the wind out my sails a little bit as well, energy wise. So yeah, I think that was kind of like, I didn't have that concrete thing to work towards, you know, so that made it really tough as well.
And that's
what does Carl say about all this? I mean,
sorry, Carl,
the father, the happy guy by your side, but you're now running a business all because you got pregnant and made a journal. What does he really say about this?
He loves it. He loves all things business, all things money. I created Cash Flow Club. I handed it over to him. He's the face of Cash Flow Club. Now, I am like the idea person and the business person, but he loves all things money, all things business, all things sales. So he's just like, go make money. And I'm like, I'm trying.
Okay, so we have to find out, how did you find this man, right?
Yeah.
How did you
created him? I remember like we when we first met, he was over in Japan working, and I sent him 2 books for him to listen to, Rich Dad Poor Dad and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And they just transformed his brain. And then since then he's just been on a roll, learning everything. So he can thank me for it all.
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
before he became the husband, but you know, you sent him the tools and he took them, so that was good.
It was a big green flag, Sandra.
Now, you're also a contributor to All In Magazine, this amazing show we're doing here, but it really is a magazine. How did you have time for that now?
Yeah, it's I'll be honest, I didn't do an article for February or for January. There was just too much going on. But prior to that, I never missed a month. And Kira, I will be back. I was only speaking to Kira about this today, and she was like, girl, come back when you're ready. And I was like, I will. No, honestly, words kind of flow to me. So I'm not someone who will like really think about my article and what I'm going to write. I sit down and I type, and it's pretty much like ready to go at that point. Like, doesn't really need proofreading or anything. It's just a state of flow, I think, that I get into, and I need to just have that like dedicated space to just go down and do it, and then it's done. The same with my chapter for the mothership, like mostly all done in one sitting. for the most part. It was a very long chapter, so maybe more than
So
one
long
sitting.
sitting.
But you know, a lot of it just kind of like happens. So like once I have those few minutes to myself, I can sit down. I could like be pumping out articles, no problem. But I haven't really had that time because of the girls have been mental the last couple of
Sure.
months.
So what are your thoughts about tell us what you think of All In magazine?
Oh, I just
What
think
is
it's
different?
incredible. Yeah. So like I just like Kira is such an amazing person for just like bringing so many unique individuals together, and she is a powerhouse for bringing people's brilliance out of them. And I think that's really what the essence of All In is about. Like, are you all in? And the articles are just amazing in that they're so different, but they all follow the same theme. And it's just, yeah, I just think it's phenomenal. It's such an amazing group of people, and they're from all over the world. And yeah, I just think it's such a great initiative that she's doing, and I just look forward to more and more people reading them. And then she just finds so many amazing people to interview as well. There's so many layers to All In magazine. Yeah, would recommend to everybody.
When we kicked off the show today, we talked about International Women's Month.
Mm-hmm.
As a mother, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, influencer, what does that mean to you to be celebrating and doing this during this month?
Do you know what is so funny? I didn't know that you were going to talk about that today at all. Yesterday, I just posted across all my social medias that for the month of March, I'm giving a 10% discount to anyone who wants to purchase a journal or anything on my site, because not only is it International Women's Day this month, it's also Mother's Day in Ireland. So the 30th of March is Mother's Day. So to celebrate both of them coming together, obviously we're incredible women, we're mothers or expectant mothers or family members of mothers. I just think it's such a powerful month. I know it's later in the year over in America, I think like June or something for Mother's Day, but
yeah, it's May usually.
Oh, May. Yeah, I just think it's just the best. It's also my mother's birthday in March, so like March for me has always been about my mother, International Women's Day, and then Mother's Day, and now I'm also a mother, so I don't know, it's just a month long of celebration for me. Yeah,
I love that. So go to your website, which is my pregnancy.
Oh, wait, we're gonna bring that up here.
Yeah.
Let me, here we go, right here. And by the way, that's a great photo. That's a great mama photo.
Thank you. My husband's dad took it. He loves the camera. And it was from Easter last year, it would have been, I suppose. So very pregnant with a toddler.
So what are they going to find when they go there? They're going to hit the QR code, jump there, but what are they going to find?
I don't know, because I haven't done the QR. Like, where does the QR go? Is it on my website or where?
Your website. This is free self-promotion here.
It's my website. Okay, so you're going to see on the homepage, you're going to see a lovely 1-minute video, which I would recommend everybody watch. And it's just kind of the idea behind my pregnancy journals. If you go to our story page, there's a lot more information there about my journey with pregnancy and motherhood, and like how the journals came about. You'll see the Mammy Corner, which is the blog, and then you'll also see the different products, so the books, the journal, all the things. And I created it all myself, so I'm very proud of myself.
Yay.
Yeah,
good for
you. Go there, check it out. Sandar, I'll give you the final question. I do want to ask this one because I'm always interested. In your journal, is there anyone that talks about that favorite food craving you had? And if so, what was your favorite food craving during your pregnancy?
Oh, do you know what? I don't know if I did mention a food craving. I don't know, which is like such a bizarre thing. I probably did, but it's not springing to mind. But my biggest craving, I think, especially my first pregnancy, was cheese. And I didn't realize it until my sister spotted a pattern. So it was all nachos, pizza, like anything that had cheese in it, I was craving, but I didn't put together it was cheese until she was like, that's all very cheesy. It's cheesy meals that you're having there. So yeah, nothing crazy, but like I think cheese. Actually, no, I lie. I will be really quick on this, right? But I was vegetarian my first pregnancy, vegetarian after my first pregnancy, and then before I realized I was pregnant the second time, I was craving chicken wings, like craving. I was going out, I didn't even know I was pregnant. I was going out every single day, tasting chicken wings in different restaurants and stuff. And then it wasn't until after I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And then went full on back on the meat, ended up carnivore postpartum and everything. Like went
Oh my
carnivore
gosh.
for like 2 months or so. Like so my pregnancy completely changed my diet, to be honest.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And hey, I had a wonderful thought before we go. You were saying, how do I get this in the hands of people at the earlier stage of pregnancy? What a wonderful gift if you know somebody that is going through IVF, like you said you were considering, as just like they can help them believe that it's coming.
Yeah,
You know, it might be a really lovely thing. Yeah.
You have to have hope in terms of pregnancy and a journal, because anything could happen at any stage. And I suppose it could be a very heartbreaking thing to have if you've been jotting in what's been happening and then something happens in the pregnancy. But also it's a nice reminder of the pregnancy that you did have, you know. So I just think it's a gorgeous thing. My husband actually thought of that because we were going to a fertility clinic as well, and he said maybe that'd be a good place to try connect with and see if it's something they want. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Bronagh Davidson, thanks for being with us on All In Magazine, and we'll look for more articles coming from you in All In Magazine
soon.
Thanks, Bronagh.
So what do you think of that?
Awesome.
What
a dynamo. Jeez.
She's doing one thing after another thing after another thing.
Yeah, and to create a website
young kids.
Amazing. But I do love the idea of the child being able to see what was going on before they even came into the world. What a fantastic thing, you know, to see what was happening for them before they even were aware of it. And going back and reading that, there's something very magical.
So don't forget, subscribe to All In Magazine. That was a boo-boo. I didn't mean to cut you off. So that's Sandar Dave Robinson. I'm Rich Bontrager, the Trigger. We'll see you back next month for All In Magazine. And please like, share, and subscribe.